I'm joined here today by the one and only Cortney Casey and what looks like a very special guest. She's set to fight Marella. I hope I said that correctly, at UFC Jacksonville. What's going on? How are you?
Um, Doing pretty good. It's my birthday, so got to get all my practice done in the morning, and then now I get to spend some time in the pool with the boy and the fam, and relax a little bit.
That's right. It is your birthday. It was a total coincidence. I was looking it up and I realized it was today. So you're owed a happy birthday, Courtney. I hope it's going well for you so far.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going great.
And were you afraid at all about not being able to celebrate correctly with all the lockdowns and everything that's going on?
Man, I wasn't gonna be able to celebrate anyways because I was in camp, but
Right.
we're gonna celebrate when I get back. We're gonna do Mother's Day and my birthday that Saturday I get back. So I'm pretty excited to to finally be able to get to hang out with the family and eat a little bit.
That's right. I assume right now the diet is what, almonds, maybe 3 leaves of lettuce, something like
I
that.
mean, if it was 115, yeah. Right now I still got I'm eating lunch right now, some zucchini and quinoa and a little bit of chicken. But yeah, I got everything pretty much dialed in. We had a little setback, said the trifecta. Um, I guess I don't know what happened with trifecta, but about 3 weeks ago, we were told that we weren't going to have trifecta until the fight. So I had to go with one of my friends, Shasta McMurray, and she's been helping me with my diet. So
That's pretty good. With everything that's going on, how's training camp going? Are you able to train correctly like you'd want to heading into this fight, or are you just doing the best you can?
I feel like I've been able to do the best I can with everything going on. I mean, it was difficult at time, right at the beginning when I mean everything was shut down, the gyms were closed, we weren't having anyone over at the house anymore, so it was just kind of us in the garage. Jakar had surgery, so he's been out, so it's just kind of been me and my roommate a little bit, and then since we've been able to get back into the gym, it's still been real small. Just me, one other training partner, and my coaches. But I mean, I feel like I've got adequate work in. It's just different from a normal camp, if that makes sense.
And so we know for some fighters, preparation is super important. Like we saw Stipe Miocic, you mentioned if he can't get the right training, he's not going to fight. Was there any doubt with taking this fight, or since it's been such a long break, it was just about trying to get back out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long break, so I really didn't want to, take another step backwards by turning down the fight. Even though there was, I mean, tons of variables going on with everything, but we ended up just, biting down and saying we're going to get through it, and we're getting through it.
And so what was the biggest factor in you for choosing to take this fight? 'Cause we know fighters have all sorts of things. Is it about getting back out there? Is it about the money? I assume there's a bunch of different factors.
I mean, all those, all those definitely play a part. Just being out for over a year, um, obviously the money, because I've been out over a year. Not that that's like the main reason why I'm fighting, but I really just want to get back in there. And considering everything going on, I'm happy to be a part of one of the three cards going on next week.
And so what's been stopping you from getting back out in the cage? I believe last time we saw you out there was February 2019. You had some fights fall out. I mean, what's been going on?
I tore my shoulder in that fight, so I had to rehab that and get some surgery done, and then just kind of been battling injuries, and I just need some time off. Really, at the end of the day, my body needed it. I think just everything kind of caught up to me, and I fought a lot in the past 3 years, so it was just time to kind of step back and really let my body heal correctly, and that's kind of what happened. Is I got back in the saddle too soon, took a fight too soon, and then ended up having to pull out of that fight because I came back too quick. So had to take the time, had to take the proper time, and do it the right way this time.
And so this upcoming fight, how did it come together? Because I know it's short notice, but at the same time, you were supposed to fight somebody else on that date, someone with a very complicated name. That's why I'm not saying it. But how did this fight, come together?
I mean, that was pretty much it. My other opponent couldn't make it due to visa and obviously, everything being closed down. So we they offered me someone, they turned down, and I just pretty much told my manager, like whoever they offer me next, I'm gonna take it. They offered me Mara, and she was, and I still didn't know if she was gonna take it, considering it was not short notice, but considering everything going on. I was afraid someone wasn't going to step up and take the fight, but I was super happy that she did. And it took about 2 to 3 days once they told me that that was my opponent to finally get everything in writing and everything like that. So I'm happy that she stepped up and wanted to train under these circumstances and take the fight.
And so we know the fight's happening in Jacksonville, but there was a chance that it could potentially happen on UFC Fight Island. What was your reaction when you found out that UFC Fight Island is potentially a real thing?
I'm excited. I mean, if it happens, great. I think that's just another thing that UFC can put a stamp on and say that we're doing. I think it'd be cool to fight on the Fight Island. Different, but definitely
Right.
cool. I think Max will be kind of mad that we're fighting on an island and it's not Hawaii, but
Right.
I still think it's pretty cool.
And so there's a lot of people, especially fighters, managers, and stuff like that are saying, the media is putting a very negative outlook on the fights that are happening and things like that. For you as a fighter, what's your perspective on kind of the coverage that's going on, and is it too negative compared to what's going on?
I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's gonna have, their disbeliefs and I guess their worries about it, but I think the UFC is doing a really good job of making sure that we as fighters and everyone part of the promotion and in the show is safe. We got sent a letter letting us kind of know how fight week was going to go, what protocols are going to be, and things like that to make sure that we're safe. So considering everything that's going on, I think they're doing the best they can to make sure that we're all safe and the show goes on.
And so for you as a fighter, was there a sense of relief when you found out that, the break wasn't going to be extended too long, that you would be able to fight despite, all the other sports kind of being shut down?
Real sorry, Brett, about that. Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying with, the fights happening, everything shut down. Was there a sense of relief that you would be able to fight during this time and not have to take an even longer break?
Definitely excited that, we were told. Like I said, I got offered this fight a little bit before all this stuff happened, and then the fights were still going on, and then they shut everything down, so it was a little bit stressful. Like, okay, there is not going to be any fights, and then there are fights, so that emotional roller coaster. But actually, finally, it being said that we're fighting and things are going to happen this weekend, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
And so you're set to fight, like I said, Marella. What are your thoughts on your opponent as you head into this fight?
She's it seems like she's like a kickboxer judo kind of style. She does have a pretty decent ground game. She likes to kind of pressure a lot and push you up against the cage and kind of hold you there and kind of beat you up there. So we're just trying to stay out, kind of use my speed. Hopefully I'm planning on having a speed advantage against
Right.
some of these girls at 125 and just stay on the outside, pick my shots, and just kind of get comfortable back in the cage and at that 125-pound weight class, and just kind of really be smart about the game plan and getting the job done. I think that's the main thing, is making sure that I get the job done. I'd want it to go to the judges, because
Right.
obviously I don't have a rapport with them, but yeah, I mean I really do feel like I could get a finish or a TKO or something like that for sure.
And so what went into the decision to move up to 125? I assume with all this stuff, usually it's all about the weight cut.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was battling some injuries, and I just didn't want to stress my body. Not that 115 was super hard. I mean, it was difficult, but I've always made the weight. It was just something I didn't want to have to battle while coming off of injuries and taking that time off. I really wanted to just focus on growing as an athlete and as a fighter, and then really being able to put on a 100% performance once I stepped in the cage.
And are you worried about ring rust at all?
No, I train in a cage, so I'm not too worried about it. I think ring rust comes more for like people who don't have cages and things like that. Like before, I never had a cage, so I was always worried about having cage rust more than anything.
Right.
Just being able to move around and use the cage and stuff like that. So the only time I actually got to use a cage was in a fight. So taking time off from fights was a big disadvantage. But now that I train, out of a gym that has a cage and stuff like that, I really don't think it's going to play a part. I think more so just the atmosphere is going to be a little bit different, and having to adjust to
Right.
that's going to be more, more of a factor than anything.
Speaking of the atmosphere, I've talked to a few fighters about fighting in an empty arena. Some of them don't like it; they think it's awkward. Are you ready for that? For the no crowd, you're gonna be able to hear your heartbeat and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean we've been preparing for it. As a team, we try to keep the practice. I mean, obviously practice is already slow, so we don't play any music. Um, Coaches are starting to understand that their voice travels a lot
Right.
further when it's quiet. So just coaching at a different tone, things like that. But mainly it's just the sounds that the cage makes, and the you hearing the punches land, and things like that. You really got to take that into consideration when judges are watching the fight, because the sounds are different. So other than that, everything's the same. I guess a more glorified sparring session than anything, without the fans there.
All right, and that leads me to my last question. Then we'll let you go. Obviously, it's an easy one, but how do you see this fight playing out come the 16th?
Man, I really do see my hand being raised at the end of the fight, and I really do think I can get a finish. But at the end of the day, I really want to go out there and put on an extremely good show for the fans. Everyone deserves a great show out of all of our the athletes on the card, and the cards previous, just because of everything going on, and us getting back in there and getting sports back on the map. So I'm just really excited to get in there and get the job done and get my hand raised at the end of the night.
All right, well, we're looking forward. It's going to be a great fight. Thanks so much for the time. I really appreciate it. And one more time, happy birthday.
Thank you.